Yo, 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 yo. What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Armand here for E equals MCU. And I have a article here that I wanted to go over from a Twitter friend of mine, Lizzie Hill, who has a website by the name of thecosmiccircus.com. Definitely make sure to check out this website if you ever get a chance. This is actually an article written by Brian Kitson. But this is interesting. I want to read. This is a long article, but I want to read over it because, as you know, on my channel, there's always the back and forth between Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Marvel TV, and if it's canon or if it's not. I want to go over this article here and get through this with you guys and share this with you guys for a possible return of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cast to join the MCU. So this is going to be big. All right, now let's start with the article. One of the major selling points for any project from Marvel Studios is how it's all connected to one another. From the beginning of the MCU, some of the most exciting bits were the connections that one film had to another. It elevated it from being just a movie in a trilogy to a story set in a larger world. Not only was it a great business move, it was an excellent creative decision, allowing for richer and deeper stories to be told. As the MCU continued to build past the Avengers, which served as the first monumental crossover between characters, it wasn't long before shows connected to the world were announced. First came Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a spin-off directly from the events of the Avengers. The show centered around fan favorite Phil Coulson, Clark Gregg, who continues adventures within the MCU within his own team of agents. The show lasted 7 seasons with varying degrees of love and hate from Marvel fans and critics alike. What started as one quickly grew, with shows furthering the Marvel brand and stories and new heroes across multiple channels and services. Some continued to spin from the rich stories already told, like Agent Carter, starring Haley Atwell. However, others began to explore new aspects of the world, like the Defenders, and the respective shows for each hero. Though as the television side continued to expand, the tendrils of connections began to dwindle. Rumored tension behind the scenes at Marvel between Kevin Feige and Jeff Loeb caused what little connection there were to cease. Though, let's be clear, the mentions and name or event drops occurred on the TV side of Marvel, whereas none of the events of the shows were mentioned in the movies, which is what I've been trying to get through to a lot of you guys. In many ways, it felt like the movies declared the events and the shows were left to respond, which is just how it flowed, in my opinion, from movies to TV. And as the shows continued past the name drops, they began making their own rules, which at times contradicted those in the movies. For instance, time traveling rules and science comes to mind, which differed immensely by season 7 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Avengers Endgame. So there's an example. Now, slowly the shows begin to end, starting with Agent Carter and wrapping up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The latter's finale aired after Marvel's television division was folded into Marvel Studios. It felt like the final nail in the coffin for those characters and storylines introduced on the TV side. Before the eventual reboot into the MCU proper, many fans were angry at the loss of talented actors such as Charlie Cox, Christian Ritter, who gave fantastic performances in their Netflix series. However, within the past year or so, rumors have begun to spiral that some characters, specifically Cox and Ritter, were to make a return to their comic counterparts, albeit likely through a soft reboot. Now, Cox has been attached to Spider-Man No Way Home. He's also been attached to Hawkeye and Echo, which are two Disney Plus Marvel series yet to air, though it has not been confirmed by either Marvel Studios or Sony Pictures as of yet. However, many insiders have supported the report originally by Murphy's Multiverse, including our own Lizzie Hill. Ritter hasn't been attached to any specific project and is much a less insider-backed rumor, but it has been around that Marvel is very interested in bringing her back in black leather jacket. With the rumors of some of the past Marvel TV characters returning, fans of all different shows have been hoping to see their favorites return. The process seems selective though, so it felt like a huge stretch to imagine the entire team of a show like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to return. Having already seen a character transition from TV to movies with James D'Arcy's Edwin Jarvis, hardcore AOS fans never gave up hope. Well, this past week, fans of AOS received not one but two glimmers of hope that perhaps some characters may be returning. However, if that's true, what would it look like? Let's examine. So here's the evidence part of the article, okay, guys? On August 11th, news broke that actress Chloe Bennett dropped out of the Powerpuff Girls series at the CW due to scheduling conflicts. Bennett started in AOS as Daisy Johnson, or Quake, as she was known due to her earthquake powers. The Powerpuff Girls show seemed doomed from early on, with the initial pilot passed on and is currently reworked for a second chance. Initially, Bennett seemed excited about the show through posts on her social media. Could she have lost faith in the project, or did Marvel call her with an offer she couldn't refuse? Now, around the same time, Elizabeth Henstridge, I hope I said that right, Henstridge posted on Instagram her video of her drinking champagne in celebration of her new house in Georgia. Now that part isn't the small hint I was referring to, but instead, when asked by a fan if she was in the MCU, she replied with a smile emoji where the teeth were closed. This seems common for when someone knows something they cannot speak on, but it can mean something else entirely. And she could have just been referring to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or her time on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So keep that in mind, people. All right, it goes on to finish up here and says, as well, she stated in her post that she hadn't unpacked in her new home because she had to fly to England. Now, she could be flying home to visit family, though timed with Bennett dropping out of Powerpuff Girls and the fact that Secret Invasion is prepping and preparing to film soon in the UK. Could there be a return for two of the strongest female leads from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? What would they look like? Or am I and a lot of other Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans just jumping to conclusions? Only time will tell. And it has a picture posted here of her on Instagram when she celebrated that, and that is in Atlanta, Georgia, where Marvel Studios films most of their TV shows. Chances are slim that Feige would adopt the entirety of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into the MCU. The differences between the rules of the MCU and the world built up by the end of the series are too glaring. Plus, by taking it all, you'd have to accept both the good and the bad. However, a soft reboot and bring in certain fan favorites from the show would allow more flexibility while also giving fans what they want. This does not mean that any possible new appearances by these characters will completely forget their past. Instead, they would focus on the future of them and the stories that they would be left to tell. I think it makes the most logical sense so that Feige and his creative team can have the freedom to explore their characters the way they want to in stories that fit within their world, without having to accept stories that they didn't have control over or don't fit within the story they want to tell, because with every Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. we get Marvel's Inhumans, and that seems like a little more baggage than anyone wants to check, and I agree. Please leave the Inhumans out, or at least that version of them. So that is the article written here, beautifully written article, and I like the points that they make on this. Now that we're getting into the multiverse and the whole multiverse information, I think it's pretty safe to say when they bring these characters, in my opinion, they're all going to be either MCU versions of the characters, and there'll be slight differences in their past that'll say or make all of the Marvel TV versions of the characters from a different universe, or like a parallel universe or one of the multiverses. To me, that's the easiest way of going about it, and then that way some of their past can be the same. So let's, for instance, with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they would have to explain how Clark Gregg gets back, which, unless they just straight bring them over from another multiverse, you could have Mac and Yo-Yo and Quake and Fitz and Simmons. You can have all of those characters come over and just say that they were already working with Coulson, and in their universe they may have gone through some of those adventures, and some they may have not, wherever the timeline skewed. So That's the easiest way to explain it. But there's been a lot of reports lately of a lot of characters from Marvel TV coming back. But like they said in the article, it's not all of the characters. So again, Feige and company are picking and choosing which characters and actors they want to bring over associated with it. Now to add on to this, I read I don't remember if it's just an article or it was like a scoop where they did drop and say that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would be in Secret Invasion next year. It didn't say to what degree, it didn't say which ones. Clark Gregg has been hinting at it forever, and he even recently just had, I think it was on Twitter, he came out and said that he believes the stories from the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are still canon. Now he says this, and that's just his opinion, you know, and that's everybody's opinion. But to me, he's saying that knowing that he's still involved with them. He did just do Captain Marvel a few years ago, so he knows something. He's on the inside. He's been hinting, tweeting at Tom Hiddleston about Loki season 2, so maybe there's a planned pop up for him to come in there. Man, this is a really exciting time because all of the shows between the rest of this year and next year that we're going to get in 2021 and 2022 are going to answer all of these questions. And with the rights now being back with Marvel Studios Disney now, with both the Fox characters and Marvel TV characters, you're going to get everything at once. So I suspect 2022, 2023, everything's going to be answered, resolved. There's going to be so many shows. There's going to be so many movies. Man, it's a good time to be alive. It's a good time to be a Marvel fan right now, guys. So let me know what you guys think. And I already kind of know what you guys think about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as far as if it's canon or if it's not. But what do you think about the characters returning? Do you want to see them return? Who do you want to see return? You want to see Brett Dalton return? You know, from the early days of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Me personally, I kind of liked Adrian Palicki as Mockingbird. Can we get her to return? Maybe even pop up in Hawkeye, because that's where she would fit into, you know. You know, do you want to see, what was it, Zeke? You know, do you want to see him return from how they left his storyline? They got to bring back Agent May. I know she's busy with the Book of Boba Fett, but they got to bring back Agent May in some sort of way. I'd love to see some flashback tie-in. I'd almost like to see them come back on Disney Plus with their own series maybe, but I don't think it would warrant that. I think if they did come back in Secret Invasion, it would definitely be just as secondary characters to kind of fill in the story and the richness of the lore and the history. So, but that's what I want to see. Personally, I am a fan. There was ups and downs with that show, but I was a fan of Marvel TV, still am. You know, regardless of the fact that if I believe that those stories were set in the what you would call the main universe or the main timeline, but big fan of those shows. So let me know down in the comment section who you want to see come back for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'm out.